Hi guys, welcome to the next quick Q&A. I have a question here from Mark and I'm going to answer that first. So Mark said, in your essential striking you showed a strategy of grabbing the shirt and striking with the elbow. Any additional details about striking from cloth grabs? For example, is it an incidental technique or one you should seek out? Is it a good idea of fighting someone bigger than you? The way I like to use grabbing clothes and or hair or whatever you can is, for me, it's more incidental. It's something that you notice that is there for you. Obviously, you should practice it. You don't practice. You don't. I think it's a bad idea to try out things for the first time when your life is on the line, so to speak. So I would practice that for sure, and then see how it works from you on different opponents, on different partners. See how you feel about that. That's the first part. The second part, what you asked is this a good idea of fighting someone bigger than you? Well, it depends. There's many different ways you can answer this question. For me, the main thing is, it needs to be something that you're confident that you can pull off. And even if that means against a bigger guy. For instance, in the video that I'm putting online, the instructional video on Patreon, for the twisting of the arm twist to the left and the right, for my combat science program, this is something that if you have good body mechanics, you can pull off against big, strong guys. But you need to have the body mechanics and you need to train for that, obviously. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that it doesn't necessarily have to be like when you grab somebody by the shirt or what have you. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you can pull him, that you pull him completely off balance. That's not necessarily what you need for whatever successful technique you want to do afterwards. But it can be enough to hinder him, to smother him, so he doesn't get to use his superior size on you. So I think it's a viable technique, providing you practice it and providing you are comfortable using it, in the sense that you trust that you can pull this one off. But most of all, you have to commit to it. That is the key point, is don't just grab a guy's shirt or sweater or vest or whatever and you give it a yank and that's it. No, you're gonna have to do more than that. You need to do it with commitment and pull, push, put it over his head, whatever you plan on doing with it, but use it in the most efficient way possible, and that by definition means that you're gonna have to just use force. You put your body into it. Don't do it half-heartedly, but just go all the way. This is true for many techniques, but in some techniques there's some leeway. For instance, if you're a guy who hits really hard and you hold back a little bit when you hit somebody, you still might get a really good result because you have this power in your techniques to begin with, because you're big and strong, or you train really hard and your mechanics are good, and that's how it comes out. Grabbing somebody by his clothes and then doing that half-heartedly, if you just yank at my t-shirt and that's all you do, you go as far as the stretching of the cloth allows, I'm not gonna move, so that's not gonna work. But if you then pull and keep pulling until I move, that's what I mean with it needs to be done with commitment. It needs to be done until you get the result you want, or you get a different result that forces you to flow into something else, or you automatically switch into another technique. It doesn't matter. But you need to get the result, you need to get a result, which is the whole reason you did that grab and pulling or pushing or whatever you did with the clothes to begin with. It is a setup for something else. And if you can do that, then I think it's going to be successful. So for me, most of all, it's incidental. I don't go out planning for that kind of stuff. It just happens if it's there. For instance, if somebody has long hair, that's like a flashing neon light for me that I'm gonna grab it. If it comes anywhere near my hands, I'm gonna grab it. I'm not gonna go out of my way to do that, but if it's there, I most certainly will use it. If you want to see a fun example of that, look up Eric Paulson, who's one of the MMA coaches that I like a lot, and he had a fight that he did. I think it was against a boxer, and this is a really long time ago when mixed martial arts was only gaining in popularity. He had long hair, and what that boxer did was just pull on that hair for almost the entire fight, and it's tiring. Your neck gets cranked, and you can't really get techniques going. And if I'm not mistaken, Paulson eventually lost that fight. And he said that it was for a movie role that he couldn't cut his hair. And he said, well, next thing he did was cut his hair again, get rid of that, and he never fought with long hair again. I think this was in maybe the 90s, early 90s, late 80s. I'm not quite sure anymore. But you can find that fight on YouTube or online. It'll be available somewhere. So Erik Paulson and long hair fight, whatever you need for a search term, and that is incidental. I'm pretty sure that boxer didn't train to pull hair as a standard fighting tactic. I'm pretty sure he didn't do that, but it was there. He used it. It worked, and that is how I see grabbing the clothes. So, and like I said, against a big guy, it can work, but you need to have everything down. You need to be able to pull this off correctly, or it can backfire tremendously. That's it. Hope you like that, and let me know in the comment section.